Good morning, commanders in Gauteng and all over the country. My name is Luida Lebelo. I'm the convener of deployees in Gauteng and a member of the National High Command. Today we are here in a very big march, a gathering of all commanders and members of Mkhonto supporters and all South Africans. We're here to march against two things. One, we're here to call for the cessation of an attempt by the DA-led coalition called the GNU to increase the 2% VAT. We are here to march the offices of the National Treasury to say to them that we are against this increase of VAT as MK party. This increase happened before under the very same government of Cyril Ramaphosa when he took over. Now you want to do another increase that is hitting the poor, and we are saying we're against that. Calling for other interventions that we'll explain later. The second one, we're calling for an end to this liquidation of black banks, in particular Ithala. So there is an attempt by the South African Reserve Bank to liquidate all African banks or banks that provide services to the African society. They've done that with the VBS, now they want to do it with Ithala, and we are saying they must stop that. And as MK, we are here also to go and march the offices of the South African Reserve Bank once you are done with the National Treasury, to go and send the same message that you must stop this destruction of black banks and you must stop the destruction of Ithala. And as MK Party, we are going to do everything in our power, legal, parliamentary, and mobilization, to stop this 2% VAT or any other increase in VAT, and also to stop the destruction of Ithala.
The problem here is the economic policy that we are pursuing as a country. The problem arises because for the past 30 years, this country has been following an economic policy that doesn't benefit the country, doesn't support a developing country, and most importantly, we've seen that it has deepened unemployment, we've seen inequality rising. So that is the first thing that government must do, review the economic policy. Secondly, we say put money in the hands of citizens so that they could be able to stimulate demand, people will be able to buy. That's how government raises its own taxes. Most importantly, within that, we must go for industrialization. In this country, we continue to export things. There's no industries, you can't create employment. So if you don't build that base, you will not be able to generate the tax revenues that we require. And most importantly, we support the need to ensure that we strengthen SARS to be able to collect where it needs to collect this revenue. So within that, there are other options. The options is not the structural reforms that government is pursuing, that we must bring private sector even where it's not necessary. We've seen with ESCOM, we've seen now that doing it with Transnet, that we must bring quite a lot of multiple operators. These things destroy the economy. They're not building our economy. And within that, government must look at that. But we are very strong on a wealth tax. Within that, we must go on property tax. We need to look at taxing land that remains unutilized in the country. And to be honest with you, we believe that VAT should actually not be kept even at the level that it is. You remember that when it was introduced at the beginning, it was at around 11%.
We are saying they must capacitate SARS. SARS can go and get 800 billion. They must capacitate SARS. SARS is ready to do this. They are on record wanting to do this. Why they are not allowing SARS to do this? That's the first thing. Secondly, we are saying this issue of tax evasion and aggressive tax avoidance by the multinationals must come to an end. We've got all kinds of elaborate schemes around transfer pricing that these organizations are using and all of that to under-declare their earnings so that they pay less and all of that. All those schemes, National Treasury should put mechanism into place to stop all of that. Billions will come out of that process. We are also saying we can give him billions, we can give him millions. On the millions side, we have a problem with this bloated executive. That is there. Over 70 people that are just wallowing the streets. We actually don't even know what they do. We are saying as the MK party, a cadre of 24 ministers is basically all you need to run this government. You don't even need deputy ministers. They don't have executive authority. They are basically executive assistants of ministers. You don't need that role. Cut that out. And because that 76 strength of executive has got its own multiplier effect. So it might look as millions for now, but the multiplier effect of the costs that surround that 76 is just too much.
High discipline, aggressiveness, high moral. Solomoni, 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 Waye isosha lomkhondo wesizwe elabulala mapune Africa. Waye isosha lomkhondo wesizwe wayebulala mapune Africa. Solomoni, Solomoni, Solomoni.
The initiative undertaken by the Gauteng Provincial Detachment is extremely important. Extremely important. In a sense that it is the duty of us as Africans and black people in general that we have to fight for ourselves, for our own freedom. And part of the issue in emancipating ourselves is to fight against unfairness and oppression. Now, we are here today because we have got to oppose the VAT increase, which has got dire consequences on the lives of poor people in this country. Now, as MK, we couldn't keep quiet. We have got to be vocal. We have got to be known that we take a position that is pro-poor. So that's why we're here. The second aspect is that there's a huge effort by the white establishment in this country to essentially kill all institutions that are African and black, right? So Ithala is one of those. And there's no way that we are going to accept that. Even though there could be problems technically here and there and so on. And all we're saying is that if there are technical problems of any nature in an institution called the Ithala, like any other institution, we must concentrate on attending and rectifying to those particular technicalities or weaknesses of any sort, but not the question of just closing down precisely because Ithala happens to be a black institution and it services a black constituency.